off the show on a rather low frequency.
Low frequency? When? Before you...
Well, because you went up a little bit with the Barack Obama visit, which was good, and I'm so glad that they posed that question.
Right.
Because it's really important. A lot of people don't realize that, times and lifestyles have changed since we first started saying legalize it, back in the 70s before the Rockefeller laws and, selling weed and things like that became illegal. It was, one thing to have it legalized. But once it became illegal, what we need is for it to be decriminalized, because if they legalize it now, the only thing that happens is that pharmaceuticals and doctors now become legal drug dealers, and our family and people are still in jail off for doing what they're getting ready to do and tax it and all the kind of stuff. Monsanto is involved and all that. So we really need to be careful with that. We don't want them to legalize it. We need them to decriminalize it and let people do what they've been doing.
So what I'm hearing then, if you were in that audience as one of the young students, as you were back in the days up in New England, one of the bright girls, that's kind of the question that you would probably put forward to the president. Is that what I'm hearing?
If then in high school, no, I wouldn't have put it, but somebody would have. But I'm just saying in terms of like what Barack was saying, there's a lot of people in jail still. For silliness, what I'm saying? And there's real criminals out here walking around, doing things and getting off.
Absolutely. And there are over 30 odd people on the Ruler Brown Network in the chat room listening to you now, and many others in the chat rooms and beyond the chat rooms, because chat rooms are persons that are at work. They must sit there and listen. They're not necessarily typing, and I think most of them probably would agree with you. Some of these people, I was saying that to somebody the other day, Sister T, is that when you check it out, some of these politicians, some of these white collar criminals, they're convicted of some of the most heinous crimes, and them get off with a slap on their wrist. And like you said, you have some of these folks who take a look at blow off of them, look at marijuana and thing, and they get put away for 10, 15, 20 years. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. And just like you said, it doesn't just end there. So now they're labeled, they're criminals, they come out, they have, they have no choice to get jobs. How are they supposed to support their family? But, it is by design. And that's the thing that we need to understand, that is by design. But just like any design, we can, it's flawed, and we can show them their flaws and redesign it. And that's what we need to be careful. I, too, was like a lot of people, was saying, legalize it, with Peter Tosh and everybody. But times have changed. It's not the same thing now. It's, it's really serious. And it is going to affect a lot of cultures and countries and, their finances and people here locally. Unfortunately, like I said, if they legalize it, the only ones that are going to come off is Monsanto and their friends.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, because they're going to have, they're already doing the patents right now on the seeds. They've already started.
Yeah.
And because we're not knowledgeable and because we don't share the information, like I say, I always say thank goodness for this internet and for technology, but we have to use it responsibly and for good. It's like having a superpower and using it the wrong way. Right. We have to spread the word and educate each other that, we need it not to be legalized. We need it to be decriminalized. We need to get our family members out of jails. We need to get them back into the communities, and they need to be viable and employable so that they can, start being positive examples for their sons and their daughters. Because right now we have a system that has our culture as the bad. Always, we're always seen as criminals, and they're getting ready to do it. Mind you, they're doing it already in some states.
Indeed. All right, before you go on to your core presentation, let me see if I can take a minute or two just to get your reaction to the murderation, the murdering of Mr. Scott. Though I'm quite sure by now you must have seen the tape. You have any thoughts on that?
I have not seen the tape, but I did hear what you say. Unfortunately, Rulers, I tried to stay out of the news. I guess I'm with keep Anthony on that. I don't need the added stress. It doesn't mean that I'm not aware of what's going on, but I don't stay on it 24/7. But I mean, I don't have to be on it 24/7 to hear her seeming remorse. You know, I say seeming because you have to know your children.
No, I wasn't speaking so much of the one that I just played with the mom. I'm talking where the police actually shot the guy 8 shots in his back. That's the one mainly I was referring to. Because this one with her speaking just came out last night from ABC News. So many folks.
And she's the mom of the shooter.
Right, the murderer. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, they've been doing it. It's more seen now because we have all this technology. This is nothing new, but what we have to do is that with this information, we have to start taking a stand. We can't keep sitting back and now we're so shocked. Oh, God, it happened again. And it's going to keep happening until we actually start taking a stand.
So taking a stand, but some folks have been taking stands and it seemed like it's still having the same results. Because like I said, look, it's
not going to be overnight.
Right.
But we have to stay vigilant and consistent, and that's the thing. You know, where we're weak, they're going to get in, and again, these are distractions to other things. There's a lot going on, like politically right now.
And indeed, and a lot of things happening right now, like 13 and 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 numerology. All right, we're gonna segue into your main topic this week. Numerology, and you know, when you pick these topics, one of the things you're a spiritual person, you try to tie in some of the subject matters to spirituality, feeling well, feeling good, and so forth. And the last time you dealt with colors, now tying numerology, numbers, and so forth with say the color situation and health and well-being and vibes and so forth. So take it over.
And before I go into it, I want to say that it's not to give us the illusion of living life, through colors and numbers and everything. It's just so la-di-da, but it's to understand the connections and the patterns, because there's connections and patterns in everything. And those are the keys. A lot of these systems and practices go way, way, way back in time. Some before language, people were communicating through numbers. You know what I'm saying? So that these practices are not really new. In fact, they're not new at all. But it has been lost to us with our lifestyle changes. And so, like I said, it's like having superpowers and not knowing how to use them.
Right.
Numbers do carry vibrations, and you'd be surprised how much they do. Just like we saw with the colors, numbers, astrology, colors. Those are all things that have long-time spiritual connections. And a lot of what's happening now in the world has to do with planetary alignment, and how the things are lining up, because it's not just one person or two people. I know that everywhere you look, anyone you speak with, they're having trouble, whether it's financial, whether it's relationship. People are just not going through a good time right now.
All right. No. So give us an idea as to how you're going to approach this. So you send me some charts here. I have them up. So just take it away in terms of what you're going to talk about, and I'll just scan through the charts because I'm not sure how you're going to do the presentation. So take it away. It's all yours. Ladies and gentlemen, EmpressTee.
Okay. Now, the reason why numbers are so important is because we basically can't live our lives without numbers. Everything that we do involves some type of number or calculation. From the moment you wake up to an alarm clock at a set time, or even if you're not waking up to a set time, it's going to be a time on the clock. It's going to be a particular day. It's going to be a particular day of the week, a particular numbered month, a particular numbered year. So that right there, we start our day out with numbers. We have a certain amount of breath, a certain amount of heartbeat, so that numbers really rule our world. And numerology has, like I said, has been used as a form of divination and calculating for farming, for travel, back in the day, they didn't have all the fancy navigation. All they had were the stars and calculating their movement. So right there, they had numbers in order to calculate what was going on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With the as far as like with astrology and numerology.
You there? Hello, Empress. I wonder if we lost. Yeah, we might have lost Empress there for a moment. Yeah, it says call ended. All right, folks. We have EmpressTee. Hopefully she calls back. She's, basically covering numerology, and I just picked up a wheel here. EmpressTee, I don't know what happened, so you can give us back a call. I just picked up a wheel here that talks about predictions. This is not vague, generic, and so forth. There are numbers tied in with different signs, birth signs and so forth. So those are some of the things you're going to cover, like the moon, the sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, and Mars, and Libra, and everything. All right, folks, it's 44 minutes after the hour. We've lost temporary connection with EmpressTee, and going to try and see if we can make back the connection to her. Right here on a thing called HigherFrequency. Yes, indeed. It's 44 minutes after the hour. If we don't get her, we're going to go to music until if she calls back, and then we continue the dialogue with her. In the meantime, folks, you have to make sure. As a matter of fact, Friday the 13th, I need to ask her about Friday the 13th, what that means. Friday the 13th. All right, we seem to have lost her. So I tell you what we're going to do is give you this community. We're going to do some community breaks right after this one. Community breaks right after this. Community break, right?
Beauty International, the most beautiful and relaxing beauty destination designed with the whole family in mind. Our services include facials, body massage, waxing, plus a full range of treatments you would only get at a sophisticated beauty, barber, and nail salon. We're located in the cool hills of Mandeville, 4 Caledonia Road. Come in and be pampered today.
All right, yes, indeed. We're back live with you.
Hi, I don't know at which part you lost me.
Yes, I called you back. I wasn't getting you. For some reason, we just got kicked off. But yeah, we're back live now. So yeah, continue. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. That happens once in a while. Technology, you know how that goes.
Yes, and the frequency. These things are really powerful, what I talk about. And it's funny that happened because back in the day, only a select few were even privy to some of the things that I'm going to show you today and point out to you. That's how powerful they were. Like I was saying, numerology and astrology and, all the other occult studies were considered religions back then. And now, we don't pay too much heed to them, but we have started going back that direction, going in that direction now because, people are trying to figure out what's going on. They need answers. And the only things that have been able to show these answers are old, tried and true methods. So again, I was talking about the 3 major forms of numerology. There's the Kabbalic, there's the Chaldean, and the Pythagorean. The Chaldean is the oldest form, and the Pythagorean, I would say, is the most popular. You used to have the Kabbalic, which deals with Hebrew mysticism. And what they do is they use the alphabet and they base their interpretations on the sounds and the meanings of the letters. Mm-hmm. And then with the Chaldean, they convert the letters to the numbers. I think I sent you a chart.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with the charts is this. Okay.
I'm gonna keep talking. So in the meantime, the Pythagorean theorem, is the one that people are most popular. Is the one that people use the most and know the most about. Now what?
There we go. The Pythagorean, because I know in geometry, we usually have to do apply the Pythagorean theory.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. He was a great mathematician. and was born in 6th century BC. Now Pythagoras, what is special about him is that he was trained in Egypt, you know, and other parts of that region in the science of numbers and things. And he took a long time studying. And then when he came back to Greece, he taught and started his own college and, you know, began some of his own philosophies of thought. Now, with Pythagoras, the thing about him with his school, with his college, he had it all secretive. So, like I said, it was a secret thing. It was a privilege, and you were hand chosen, and you had to take a 5-year vow of silence to strengthen your faith and to learn the philosophy, because nothing was written down. So that your mind had to retain all of these things. They didn't start writing anything down until about 500 BC, which is when he died, you know, because by then, you know, there wouldn't be anyone else to continue it on. So they started writing it down, but they still continued the colleges and taught people how to divine using numbers. So that's the one that I'm going to show you today. Also, I don't know, on the screen, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I have. Is that the one? I've had this one of Pythagorean numerology. Is that? I'm not sure if that's what you wanted.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's.
I'm not sure, but if it says Pythagorean, that is the one. Now, what they do with that is they have the letters that correlate with the numbers.
They have the what? What I see here.
The letters. The
letters, right? Like
right, they correlate with the numbers.
Yeah, like
and then you have the Chaldean one, which is also another way of doing it, so that you see that the letters also correlate with the numbers.
Right.
Now, before I go into it, I wanted to talk a little bit more about certain numbers that, you know, culturally we always talk about and look at, and you know, some numbers are, I would say, 13.
Right, 13.
That people, always usually say that that's a bad luck number.
Right.
Is that correct? 13. You have the number 3. You have the number 7. And all of these are all like popular and unpopular numbers. 13 being unpopular, they say, because of in Christianity more so than anywhere, they had the 13 apostles. Jesus Christ was crucified on the 13th. You know, so that's why it has become a bad luck number.
Right.
To the point where, you know, the stock market, I think they had a crash on the 13th.
It was on the 13th. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you that it crashed on the 13th. Yes.
Yes. And so to the point where there's some buildings, if you go in New York, I don't know about in any other states, but I know for sure in New York they don't have the number 13 in their elevators or on their, you know, in their buildings at all. So that the numbers go from 1 to 12 and then it goes to 14 because they have attributed so much bad luck to that number.
Yeah.
And really it's more so in this Western culture than anything, and also in the Asian culture. Now, the reason why 13 is bad luck in the Asian culture is because 3 and 1 combine to make the number 4. And in their language, the number 4 is also the word for dead. And so that they don't associate with that number too often because of the, you know, the dead relationship. And so another thing that you know about Western culture is that we are an incorporation of many, many cultures. So, you know, that along with Christianity. So unfortunately, 13 gets a bad rap. But if you go to other cultures, the number 4 is actually a very good number. It's
number 4,
a balanced number.
The number 4 is what?
The number 4 is a very good number. It's a balanced number. It's a number. Yeah, so it all depends on, you know, where you look at it from.
No, what's the story with 7? 7 supposed to be lucky 7 and 13, bad lucky 13. So what's the story behind 7?
7 again, more so in this culture, and if you look to the ties of the Bible, a lot of people like to think that numerology and things go against the Bible and it's sacrilegious, but most of it comes from the Bible. The ties and the correlations come from things in the Bible. So you have, the universe was created in 7 days, right? God created 7, you're right? Mm-hmm. We have 7 days of the week. There's 7 musical notes. There's 7 seas, 7 continents, 7 wonders, 7 deadly sins, 7 main colors of the rainbow. So that it's just, for whatever reason, that number gets attributed to a lot of spirituality because it has so many correlations in our real physical world.
Right.
So that 7, is lucky. In fact, I wanted to do a little exercise just to show something about how we interpret numbers culturally and how we're trained almost to see certain numbers, a particular way over another number. Mm-hmm. If everyone could just, who's listening, or even just you, Rula, think of a two-digit number that is less than 50. It has to be an odd number, and they have to be different, so that you can't have 11, but you can have 13.
Right. Okay.
Think of a two-digit number, and whoever else is listening, I'm trying to look on my screen. I can't get it for some reason. Mm-hmm. But if you could just tell me what numbers some people have written, or what number you yourself come up with.
Okay. You want me to reveal it to you now, or you're going to go
Yes, you can reveal it to me.
31.
Okay, that's interesting. Anyone else? Did anyone else put down a number?
Let me monitor the chat room.
Okay. And this is just an exercise to show.
Yeah. Servant David has to be an odd number.
Yes, it has to be an odd number, and there has to be different numbers, so that you can't have 11, but you can have 13.
Right.
So we want a two-digit number less than 50.
Okay, so 25th century has 15. Somebody not even thinking dead. 25th had 25th wrote something that because the Jews avoid the number 13, and that was some tidbit information.
Yes,
he was adding in the room there, but his number that he's come up with is 15.
And you put 31.
I guess in there has 43.
No, 43 is not. 4 is not an odd number.
It's not what? It's an odd
number. Number 4 is not an odd number. They have to be odd numbers.
Or both numbers has to be odd. Oh, I didn't.
Yes, like you picked 31. You said 25th century picked 15.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
51.
So now, the point, did anyone else pick any other numbers?
Yeah, 51 is in there also. So we have 31, 51, 15, and 37.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now the thing is that the number 3 was common because we had 37, 31. I think someone picked also 13, you said?
No, there was not a 13. There was no... Yeah, what happened?
No one picked 13.
No, 25th
now, it's interesting that no one picked 13 because I had already mentioned it. And so how our mind thinks about numbers, the relationship with numbers, is that if you mention certain numbers, it triggers different things. So now how I mentioned 13, I said you can have 13, but no one even picked it. And really, there's only 8 sets of numbers that could have been chosen that were 2 digits, odd numbers under 50, and those numbers being 13, 15, 17, 19, 31, 35, 37, and 39. But the most common of those numbers is 3 and 7. And so that those numbers, we only really have numbers from 1 to 9. So that some numbers get repeated, and some numbers, because of cultural, we pick in favor over any other number. Now, you said with 7, that's one of the things. 3 is another one of those numbers. You have the Trinity. You have 3 meals a day, 3 hands on the clock. You have your mind, body, and soul. And the reason why 3 is supposed to be such a strong number, the triangle is supposed to be an indestructible form.
The 3? Oh, I was born on I was born on December 3rd. Wow. And
really? And we're going to get into that later. I'm going to show you how you can figure out, almost divine your life using, predict certain things in your life using your using the numbers of your, of your birthday and things like that. So I just wanted to, go over those numbers. And then you have the ancient Babylonians had a thing for the number 60. And so that's why, they used their mathematics and their calendar was based off of the number 60. And we use still some of that because our minutes are based off of 60 seconds and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So that we've retained some ancient, formulas that we use and number favorites. For Egypt, it was the number 12. They had the 12 realms of the dead. They have the 12 main crops. There's 12 inches in a foot, 12 inches in the 12 pennies in a shilling, 12 months of a year. There's also, 2 cycles of 12 hours in a day. So that for the Egyptians, it was the number 12 and 60. So, favorite numbers change depending on the culture and, the situation that they're put in. Mm-hmm. Okay?
No, let me ask you this. Your last presentation, when we talked about colors, you had asked persons to reveal their favorite color. Is there any such a thing? What's your favorite number?
There is and there isn't. Yes, there is. There's some people that are guided more so by one number over another. Uh-huh. But in a way it's good and in a way it's bad because let's say that someone is guided by the number 13. They happen to like that number 13. Mm-hmm. They probably can't use it as a power because culturally we've been trained not to like a particular number, Mm-hmm. So that person might not use their power number. But yes, you can have a favorite number and it can be of use to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like my daughter has a thing for the number 3. And when you look it up, like I said, it has, to me, the number 3 is a very spiritual number. Some people say it's number 7. But, it all depends on how you look at it and what it means for you. With you, I wanted to do the Pythagorean theorem, the Pythagorean method of numerology. With that, you can figure out your what your natural talents are based off of your name. Uh-huh. What they do is they use the letters of your name and attribute them to numbers so that you can figure out, your first impressions of people, what your likes and dislikes or your inner desires really are. And it's just fun. It's just a fun way of divining. It's not, it's not to be taken seriously. People don't have to say, oh my God, this is, I don't believe in it or whatever. It's supposed to be fun. Remember, it's fun. Mm-hmm. So I took the liberty of doing your name. And in your name, you have the letters R-U-E-L. If you put up the Pythagorean chart.
Okay. Oh, you said R-U-E-L, and you put it in the Pythagorean chart?
Right.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So when you put it in the Pythagorean chart, your numbers are 9353.
9353?
Right. And how I did that is I look on the Pythagorean number values. You see they go from 1 to 9. Uh-huh. And under each number, there's like three letters.
Right. 1 second. Let me go to that chart right here, folks. She talks about the Pythagorean.
And what you do is you go to the letter number. You go to the number that your letters fall under.
Yes.
So your name is R-U-E-L. So we have 9353.
Okay, 93. Yes, I see. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for Brown, we have 29655.
29655.
Okay.
29655. All right,
Now, it's
folks, let me just describe quickly what EmpressTee, the Pythagorean, for folks who outside who are not seeing it. Basically, it's a table from labeling from left to right, 1 to the number 9, and then below each of the letters, each of the number, there's a number of letters. So the maximum number of letters each has is 3. The number 9 has 2 letters, which is I and R. So just envision the alphabet going from left to right, A, B, C, D, have it filling out and wrap around until it ends. Sorry, go. I just
with the letters B, exactly. So that if you wanted to try and do it with us, those who are at work, if you had a piece of paper and a pencil,
right.
You can make your own chart exactly the way that Rula said. What you would do is write the numbers 1 through 9 across the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then divide each number. And under 1, you have the letters A, J, S.
Right.
Under 2, you have B, K, T. Under 3, you have C, L, U. Under 4, you have D, M, V. Under 5, you have E, N, W. Under 6, you have F, O, X. Under 7, you have G, T, Y. Under 8, you have H, Q, Z. And under 9, as he said, you have I and R.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's just, like I said, this is fun. I take it to heart only because I've learned about this a long time ago through friends talking and, having fun, like I said. And also Lloyd Strayhorn was an author of a book, Numbers and You. And he laid it out so nicely in there, and it was so current, for our generation. And he explains it in detail for those who want to know more about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, with your name, you can figure out who you are or who anyone is. So now, when we expand the numbers out, 9, 3, 5, 3, and add them up, we get 20, which is 2 plus 0, which will equal 2. So what you want to do basically is when you get the letters of your name, you want to attribute them a number, and then you want to add the numbers up.
Add all the digits up. Right? So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Add the numbers, add all the numbers. The 9, 3, 5, 3.
Right.
You're going to get 2, but do it separately because each one has a different thing.
Right, from the Royal. So Royal would be 9, 3, 5, 3. That adds to 20. And then Brown would be 11, 17, 22, 27. Okay.
Right, or 2 and 7. So which would equal 9 and 2. Now, if we put your first and second name together, we can find out what your natural talents and skills are. These are meaning natural talents and skills before you even get trained on anything, before you even go to school. What is inherent with you based off of your name?
All right, one quick, you made a statement, I didn't hear you clearly, I got distracted. You say, if you pick the second if I pick the second name?
Yeah, if you put your first and second name together, Ruel and Brown,
right,
together you get what is called your expression number.
Expression number, okay. Uh-huh.
And from your expression number, you can find what your natural talents or skills or abilities are. Mm-hmm. And this is based off of the sum total of the numbers of your name.
Mm.
So, this is, like I said, before anyone did any training or any school or anything, you just want to find out, what is their natural inclination, at birth. When you were named, what attributes did it come with?
Mm. Mm.
And so it's really interesting because when I did yours, we got to the number 11, which factors down to the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And from that... The number 2 describes you as a person that's peaceful, loving, friendly, considerate, desire of partnership. This is from the first name, too, because remember I said we'll do it separately and then we'll do it together.
Uh-huh.
So considerate, Desire for partnership, warm and gentle. You might be a cook, chemist, electrician, poet, painter, or editor. And that's just based off of the first name group. So, but when you put them together, first and last name, you get what is called the expression. Like I said, the expression. Wait a minute, I lost it. I'm so sorry. I want to keep talking.
All right, so expression. All right, folks, it's
go ahead.
No, I'm just about to let the folks. I was just trying to fill in the gap there for you. It's 8 minutes. 8 minutes after the 11, and you're talking about numerology, your name, assigning numbers to the letters in your name, and try and figure out what it means before you start to even form some general to be some general person in terms of what you're gonna be doing in life. And this is this is really, really interesting. You know,
right. People, so now, when I put the personality together, again, like I said, you came up with positive description of gentle, understanding, artistic, romantic, loving, considerate, tactful, sensitive, persuasive. Now, it's basically believed that when you are born and you're given this name, and the birthday, even down to the birthday that you're born on, they have specific qualities that you get endowed with. So that's how we do it with the name. And then with your birthday, what you would do is almost the same method. But instead of using your name, you would use your birth month, your birth date, and your birth year.
Let me find that one. Okay.
And from that, you can get what is called your personal destiny number.
Personal destiny number.
Yes, and that lets you know what it is that you're here on this earth to do. Because believe it or not, lots of people say, oh, we're here, but what are we here for? We are here for a purpose, and it is to learn to be, good, wholesome individuals, humble. It's not about the most money. It's not about the best ride. It's really not about the most women. It's not those things at all. And each of us has a different lesson plan, so to speak. And so you can figure it out by doing your personal destiny number.
Can I give you an observation though? When you did new colors, and you did a reading on myself, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 10. The reading I thought was spot on in terms of how I see myself and the character I know myself. And when you did this one with a number now, I would say it's probably a 9 out of a 10. I'm wondering if you were to really and truly do a survey, get a group of people, 20 people, 100 people, and go through that, how many of those individuals would agree to what level that your readings are accurate? That's quite interesting.
Yes, I would like to know too, but I know that just from freehand, just talking with friends and family, it usually is spot on. And that's, that's the whole science of it. There is a science, and that's why it's been used, for so long, for centuries and centuries, as a means of divining. I can't say why it works. It works. The frequencies are there. These things just correlate. They just correlate. It's the same with house addresses. If you were to factor out your house address, even before you move to it, some people like to look up a house address before they move to make sure it's the right house for them. Some people like to move into a house number that, is like their birthday number. Me, I love the number 5. That's my birthday number, 5. So, and I look for things that are 5. Anything with 5, I love it. You know what I'm saying? 5, and that's just my number. Now, but for a house to live in, it's not really a good house for me to live in because the number 5 has different qualities and different traits in terms of a residence, even in terms of a business. And there are some people that swear by these methods and won't open a business that has a certain number. They won't live in a house that has a certain number, or they'll only, you know what I'm saying, they'll look specifically for it. And if you go online, you'll see it. Or even when you go to a realtor, they may ask you.
All right. One second there, Sister T. I'm getting some feedback in the chat room. Persons are not able to see the charts on the screen. Sorry about that. They came to me a little.
Yes, a little
small.
late.
Yeah, not
early.
late. No, not late. They came to me on time. I saw them. It's just that they're small. So when
okay.
So when I capture the image with my camera, it's not coming through as big. You know, some like that one with the numbers on a telephone or on an elevator. You'll see the numbers, but some of the photos are small. So persons are asking.
Yeah, the one on the elevator, that was just to show you that there are actually buildings that really don't have the number 13.
Right. And yeah, I've heard of that too. Yes, indeed.
There's some cities that don't have the street number. So that it's just, it's a matter of how you feel about that number. It can be really construed as taboo or not. I had a friend that was asking me about her home address, and we broke it down to the number 8. And, like for people that were curious about their home address, the number 8 happens to be a very good house to live in for people who are self-employed, for people who are self-motivated. Even just the value of the house will help them accrue wealth. But, it's not one of those numbers where you're not going to do poorly. If you have a home business, you'll do very well there.
But here again, people have to be really conscious of these things to get into it to that level. Because if me I go buy a house, Sister EmpressTee, and the price of the house, right? Say, the house was going on sale for 200,000, and me bargain them down to 150,000. Whether they're number 13 or 15 or 16, me I take it, so long as it's a good deal.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now, chances are, if you check out the history of that house, you probably, if it is like a number, it's certain house numbers that have a lot of movement in, like a number 5 house has a lot of movement in. People move in and out.
Gotcha.
So that you would find that house probably had frequent owners.
Gotcha.
So that, it's not to deter you,
right,
but just to make you mindful of what type of energy is in the house.
Right.
But in the same token, like with Feng Shui and all of these things, it's not to make you feel weak or hopeless. It's to empower you. Because even like you said, if it did add up to a number that wasn't agreeable, you can change the number just by virtue of knowing the power of the number. And what you would do is, let's say you live in a one house. A one house for some people is very good if they're not in a relationship, or if they're not very social, or if they're not looking to, to be around a lot of people. Because number 1 is a singular number, and it also carries a singular vibration. So this is someone who, might be very high up in stature at work, but not very popular. It's a singular number. But now let's say this house was willed to them, or they got it, they want it, and they just want to live there, but that's not their personality. What they would do is you could add a number in back of your door that no one particularly has to see that would add to the number. Add or take away from the number.
Wait a minute, no. Let's see if I understand you. So you say, because but wait a minute now. You're saying, so you just added some fictitious number that for your purpose.
Not fictitious.
But you can't change. Can you change your street number like that? I don't think you can do that.
You can't change the street number, no. But I'm saying, like with your home number. Let's say you lived in the number 1 house. And or let's say you live in a number 2 house.
A number 2
house. A 2 house is great for social, but it's not great for money. So you might have a home business and a 2 house. You want to make a little more money. You got the people coming, but you need to make money. So what you would do is you would draw the number 6, because you would want to change it to an 8 house, and you would just stick it somewhere inside the house.
Right.
On the front wall, and then that adds the extra vibration of the number. I don't know why it works. I'm just telling you.
All right.
And it really works. I mean, we can do a couple of readings on house numbers now.
All right. One thing here. Let me see. That I wanted to see what happens. Okay. SW writes, Empress, can you tell us what the numbers represent? Like, if I come up with number 6, what does it mean?
For what? For a home or for?
She did not say. If it's just a generic. So, okay.
Like personality trait. I can tell you. Yes, I can. They have. Yeah, I can. But like for what? What do you want to know? Like, let's just, for instance, you said your birthday was December 3rd?
Yeah, my birthday is December 3rd, right.
Okay, so some people will consider you a 3 person.
A what?
A 3 person.
Oh, a 3 person, okay.
Because you're born on the 3rd.
Right.
So it would say that, success generally comes your way as an actor, artist, administrator, entertainer, fashion designer, government official, horse trainer, illustrator, jeweler, judge, lawyer, minister, photographer. Your best interview days are Thursday and Friday. In selling yourself, let the interview know that you're conscientious and hardworking, that you don't mind putting in long hours, and that you're creative and optimistic when it comes to solving problems. So now that would be like a reading for someone who wanted to know what would be the best career based off of their birth number. What would be the best career for them?
All right, I tell you what, SW, if you could call in, it'd probably make it a little easier because you're writing something there, and I'm not sure we're able to understand it fully. Because you
can use numbers for attraction, for compatibility, because everyone has their own number. My personal life number is 9, and how I come up with that number is I take my birth date, I take my birth month, my birthday, and my birth year, and I add them up and factor it down to a single-digit number. Now, with those single-digit numbers, according to the Pythagorean numerology, there's a whole range of definitions and characteristics and advices that pertain to each number. If you come up with your number, I can tell it to you now if you'd like. Now, with the Chaldean numerology, it's different in that they don't break it down to 1 digit. They keep it as 2 digits if it's a 2-digit number, because they believe that the odd numbers have to do with your inner personality, and the even numbers have to do with your outer. So there's a difference with their trains of thinking, of working.
We have another Pythagorean in the chat room. Guess 0573 says, ruler is an entertainer. Next, he will be a minister.
He's already a minister.
Let me ask.
He's a minister of peace and love.
Right. Let me ask you this though, Empress. So you do a reading. Because you're doing the reading now based on the Pythagorean numbers, numerology, right? Is that correct? No. What if I were to take the Chaldean numerology and do a reading? Would the readings come out to be about the same? Why?
Generally the same. The difference is that the Chaldean only go up to 7. The Pythagorean goes up to 9.
No, the Chaldean goes up to 8 from the chart that you sent me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like their numbers.
This shows 1 through 8, right? Whereas the Pythagorean shows 1 through 9.
Okay. Okay. I don't know why it's like that on there. Yeah. But the difference is that it gives you different types of reading.
Right.
So like where I was saying that with the Chaldean, they keep their double digits double. If it's a double digit, they're going to keep it a double digit. They're not going to factor it down to a single digit, because the double digits mean different things. and the odd and even number mean different things. But basically, they all, I don't know how they work, but they all work together. Just like I said, there's 7 colors on the rainbow. So the colors also attribute to numbers. It's the same with the chakras. It's the same colors. They all have the same meaning. They're all very similar. The same with the feng shui.
And that probably explains why the 2 sets of readings that you've done for me, the one with the colors and the numbers, are syncing, because with this pie chart thing, they fall in the same color spectrum, the numbers fall in the same color spectrum, and they give you the same readings under that one sector, for example.
Yes,
that radius, not radius, but that circumference, that sector on the circle, it falls in the same. No, I see how it works. No, I get it.
Yes,
right.
And so that's why, it actually works.
Yes, I see.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know why. I don't know all the little specifics, but it is a science and it's a practice. And, like I said, it works.
And I see.
I've even done the thing with the changing the number in the house.
Yeah.
Because I just said, let me see.
SW is asking if you can do hers. It's 5/8/1969. If you can do
okay, hold on.
All right, folks. We're on the phone with. We're gonna wrap this up for another. It's 23 minutes after. We're gonna probably go up to about 11:30 or 11:35. Remember, Clinton Lindsay comes up at 12 o'clock and he presents to you today at 2 o'clock the top 30 charts there in New York, the Foundation New York chart, and. Make sure you keep that lock for that one. What would be number 1 this week? I have no idea. Maybe EmpressTee can answer that one. Number 1 this week. EmpressTee, while you're doing that, we're going to ask you about horoscopes. Your birth date, which is what you're working now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks.
So now what I did for her was I got her personal destiny number.
Mm-hmm.
And her personal destiny number, based off of the birthday 5/8/1969, factored down to 38, or the number 2. And so, what her lesson for life, what she's supposed to be here to learn, it's just like yours, to be loving, peaceful, considerate, kind, understanding, persuasive, patient, and gentle. And what you need not to learn is to be overly sensitive, easily swayed by others, moody, impressionable, and indecisive or petty. So that when I say that that's your personal destiny, that's your life lesson. Yeah. And the closer you are to it, then you know that you're on the right track and you're doing the right thing. Now, along with that, we can turn this around and find out what her personal year forecast is, meaning what type of year is in store for her based off of her birth month, birth date, and the year number. And so I'm going to do that quickly and give her a quick year reading and see if she, so far, because the year has just started.
Because one of the things is the readings you just gave her sound so similar to when you did it for her colors. And that's why I said, based on that circular chart, the numbers and the color spectrum, the colors probably match up, the number probably mesh with a certain color, and under that they give you the definitions to the stuff that you're reading now, and that's how I can understand why it works. It is amazing. Wow.
The connection, isn't it? Isn't it? And so, like I said, it's not to make us feel hopeless or helpless, but it's to empower us. These are the things that the ancients used, and they swore by it. It was so powerful that you had to be chosen, you were taught in secret, and you were highly regarded once you knew it. It wasn't for everybody.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? This stuff is not supposed to be for everybody.
Wow.
Now, based off of her numbers, she's having a number 3 personal year. So, which means that the theme for her year is imagination, expansion, self-improvement, and creation. And basically a description of the year for her would be one of happiness, growth, artistic and social development, along with the desire for self-improvement, are among the many highlights in store for you. And again, this is from Numbers and You by Lloyd Strayhorn. It's a very good book. Get it. Go on eBay, Amazon, wherever you can, and get yourself a copy. You don't even have to get a new one. Just get one. Improving your image or reputation will add to your popularity with others and the public. Doing something creative such as writing, painting, making music will add much to your personal self-satisfaction. Be positive in attitude and action as much as possible. The seeds you planted 2 years ago are likely to bear fruit. If you were born under the sign of Pisces or Sagittarius, or if your birthday falls on the 3rd, 12th, or 21st, or 30th of the month, this year should be all the more important.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot that you can do with numbers. And again, like for her, she's a number 3 person. Right there, her number was 2, the same. She's got a lot of the similar jobs as you, the artist, actor, bank teller. No, yours was a 3. She would do well as an actor, artist, bank teller, a caterer, collector, computer expert. I agree with that. Cook, dancer, diplomat, editor, homemaker, mediator, musician, nutritionist. I agree with that. Poet, psychiatrist, psychologist. So you see that, and if you know the person, then you can say that, yeah, it's almost true. And not all of them are the same. I've actually looked through all the numbers because, they have some people that say, oh, no, they make it so broad, so general that you almost can't fit in the category. It's not. That's not the case.
Let me ask you this. I'm looking at one of the chart that you sent. It has Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Uranus, Mercury, the stars, Venus,
yes,
the planets, Neptune, Saturn, whatever. And each of them correspond to a number. And
that's with horoscopes and astrology as well.
Yeah. What happened if I born on the 10th? I don't see.
That would be a number 1.
Oh, that's what they do it. Number 1. So it's based on the first number.
Well, it depends on which numerology you're using. Because if it was the Chaldean, they would leave it at 10. You can have your double digits.
Oh, okay.
So if you're using the Pythagorean method, then it has to wind down to 1. And then there's also master numbers. They say 11 and 22 are powerful, and that they carry a different vibration. So that if you factor down your numbers and you got to like an 11 or 22, it has added significance. And the reason being, I'm so sorry. I wanted to know if anyone else wanted to do a quick reading as well. I was trying to find the explanation about the double digits, but 11 and 22 is the only time in the Pythagorean where you wouldn't break it down.
This is quite interesting. I'm sure many of the individuals listening now probably going to look this all up on the internet in terms of numerology. So again, if because a lot of people are listening, and you have a lot of people in the chat room that are engaging that way. They're in the chat room, but they're not engaging because they're not signed in that way. Now, if what would you say to persons who are hearing and would like to go and look up information? What should they search for? What should they look for?
Numerology.
Just
look up numerology. If you wanted to know, like, let's say you live in a particular home, you just moved there and things are not gelling the way that you thought it was going to be, you could look up numerology of housing. I have some links that I will be putting up on my Facebook that will link you right there and can tell you a description of what life could be in each particular number house. And you can also use it for businesses. Some people won't open a business until they check out the numerology, until they check out the feng shui of it and, all those things, because they understand the inherent connection. So just go online and look up numerology, look up the Pythagorean method.
Yeah, I just typed in that, and I just click on because there are many sites there. So when one goes on, they'll have to determine what they pick. But just a definition says, get your daily numeroscope. It says your life path number is probably the most influential numerological aspect to be considered, and this number is determined by your birth date and represents who you are at this time. It indicates specific traits that are present and will likely be active and influential throughout your lifetime, which is basically what some of the things you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good, like I said, it's good to know. It's for people that that want to be empowered. Me, I understand that there's a lot in the world that I cannot control, but there's also a lot that I can just get in sync with. You don't always have to control everything. If you're on the right flow, you know what I'm saying? If you're on the right path, then you don't have to control anything. Your progress is inevitable. It leads up. There's no other way to go. You know what I'm saying?
And
so that these.
Sorry, Empress. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, so that these, all these practices that I talk about, these are just all empowering methods. And I use all of them at different times because different times call for different measures. Sometimes I might need to do a little more color work because that's what is working for me. That's what my senses are appealing to more. Sometimes I might be a little more technical. I might have to do some math and, get in there and figure out some numbers. Sometimes I might, have to be a little more spiritual, a little more physical and change my diet up so that you understand that either way, you're empowering yourself and that they're all connected. They're all connected and have been. Like with numerology, back in 650 BC, they were saying that numerology and astrology was over 500,000 years ago.
Wow.
So, back then it was already old.
One thing, as you talk about empowerment, I thought, sometimes some people say they're bored, they don't have anything to do. I just thought this could also be a way of, trying to get active, go on the internet, search these things up, so what it means, so you
can understand why it is that you're bored.
Right.
It might be your address, it might be your life cycle for that moment, it might be your, because in addition to life years and things like that, there's life cycles. You can get really, really down into it. Sometimes you're in a life cycle. My life cycle is, I think, 7 years. And what I mean by that is that from year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going up, 5, 6. By the time year 7 comes down, I'm on the way back down. And it's a pattern. And I've seen it. It was shown to me, through numerology, but I've also seen it in my lifetime. So that what I do is I make sure that when it's the years going up, I'm on point and doing what I have to do that so that when it's the low, when it's coming down, not a low, but a low, Lull, when it's the low, I'm not low, but rather more like in a resting state.
Yeah.
So that anyone that is bored right now, they must be in a low period in their life cycle, and it's just a matter of time before it's going to change back up. But if you can follow it numerology wise, you can see when your cycle is going to change. You can even bump it up a little bit and put yourself in a position where you're not bored, but rather more active. And if you need help, contact me. We can do the life cycle together. I can show you, patterns.
All right. We have Patrick from Inbox Media Group, one of the radio stations carrying your broadcast now. And he just came into the chat room. Because like I said, we just monitor this the 2 chat rooms on Ruler Brown Network. And there are many other chat rooms that are engaged right now. And I'm not looking at them, so they might have. But he took it and he came into the Ruler Brown Network. And he writes, "Good morning. Rule, I'm just getting into the chat room. Can you please do mine? 32769. And we're gonna make 32769. I'll be curious to find out. And Patrick, when she presents the reading on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd be curious to hear how accurate you think she is. And we're going to make this the last one because it's 36 minutes after. Remember, Clinton Lindsay comes up at 12 o'clock. He's going to be doing at 2 o'clock the Foundation at New York chart, and make sure you stand by. As a matter of fact, I have a song, the one with me and Dabby Dobson, just entered the chart last week came on at number 26. Once this big up also to Mightyful 13. As a matter of fact, we need to get Mightyful 13 and find out why him pick the number there, Mightyful 13. Obviously, he had no fears of the number 13, but Servant David wants you to do his also. 39.
And also, don't we have 25th century? Like when you factor those numbers out, those are really good numbers. 25, that's the 7. 7 is supposed to be an extremely spiritual number.
Servant David also is putting his address in here. Servant David, you have 3973. I thought you were born 1922. Might not trick the people, you know. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
Okay. For Patrick, I did his, and his personal destiny number is 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so his lesson is to learn to be original, creative, forceful, determined, ambitious, bold, self-controlled, and self-confident. And learn not to be bossy, selfish, limited, egotistical, weak-minded, arrogant, a bully, or domineering. So that if you lean more toward the positive things, you should do well. That's just the personal destiny. Now, what I also took the liberty, Patrick, if you don't mind, was to do your personal year forecast. So that for number 1 person, the theme of this year is independence, new opportunities, and planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll talk to you about is career-wise. If you've been wanting to make a break to go for something completely new in your career, this is certainly the year for it. More major changes, improvements, or job independence take place under this cycle than any other. Aggressiveness, decision-making, ability, leadership qualities, and the will to win impress others and gain their assistance. If you're looking for work or making career moves, Tuesday and Monday are your best days, in that order. These are also good days to ask for a raise or promotion. Job or career changes are likely to be more noticeable during April, May, July, and September.
Wow. He says he's moving to Florida. And he said bleed fire. I'm not sure that says 10. I don't know what that is. But let me ask you.
He's moving to Florida. Mm-hmm.
No,
they even have that. What is the best place to live for based off of your number?
Uh-huh.
Also attracting a number 1 person. You are mentally attracted to people in matters of love, romance, and business. As a number 1, your way of expressing love is more intellectual than emotional. Because of your numerical nature, you respond more on the plane of will and logic. Wow. You will do better in a relationship where you can take the lead. Is any of it clicking? Is it any of it resonating? Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick. How does the readings match up with your personal knowledge of yourself and conditions and so forth?
Is he trying to make career changes this year? Has that been on your mind?
Yeah. While he comes up with a response, if he still is in the chat room. So let me ask you, tarot card readers. When you go to tarot card readers, are they using the same thing?
Yes, indeed. And theirs is based more on the Italian because they have the 22 numbers. But yes, indeed, it's numbers. It's numbers, and it's also with the elements. And yes, indeed.
Indeed. So when people go in there and pay a whole lot of money, then people go read them. They can just learn some of these things by themselves and basically come up with some of these answers.
Well, yes, you can, and some more than others. The reason why I say that is that you have to definitely get yourself in tune. But these are all things that you can learn to the point where it's natural, you just know it.
We have someone calling in. We're going to have a caller. Good morning. Say your name, please. Caller.
Ruler, Patrick.
Better Patrick, what going on, big man?
Well, I'm my brother.
She's looking for some feedback on the readout she made for you.
Yeah, I just got it. I'm not. Am I online? Am I on?
You're live on here
Yes, yes.
with EmpressTee, yeah.
I Empress.
Hi, Patrick. How are you this day?
I am good. I am blessed. You are amazing.
Listen, I'm just the messenger. I really cannot take credit for any of these things. I am just the messenger, and I believe in empowering ourselves.
Right.
I really do. And, a lot of us sit around and feel like, oh, our lives are this or our lives are not that, but it's what you want it to be. And, that's not to say that I don't struggle. I struggle every day, but it's how I struggle. I struggle knowing that the end is in sight. I see it more like an obstacle course, okay? So if I got to scale this wall and I didn't make it the first time, okay, let me go and regroup. Let me see what my real resources are and scale this wall because there's more journey behind it. Lots of people get stuck on one little issue and, don't get stuck on the pebbles. We got much, much further to go.
All right, Patrick, let me ask you this. Based on the reading and what you know of yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate would you say she came?
More accurate than I thought.
Wow.
I don't do the tarot card reading. Every now and again, I'll probably, look at a horoscope. When I'm looking to deal with a female, I always see what sign they are because I know certain signs I go good with and certain signs, I just stay away from. But that's as far as I went with it. But, when she did the reading,
the personal,
and a blade fire and a blood fire, like, yo.
Yeah. Forget you.
Like,
Here's the thing, Patrick. If you go to astrology, you're already using these methods. It's just that this is, what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Astrology is based off of your birth date.
All right, folks, quickly. When we asked Patrick for his response, he wrote in the chat room, actually it's a mistype. He meant to write blood fire, and the 10 meant on a scale of 1 to 10, she was a 10 out of 10. So, and like I said,
she's a 10.
Yeah, and
let me explain why. She said, "This is the year for doing new things." I've been to Florida twice within the last 30 days, and I haven't done so in the last 15 years. Actually, looking to move away from the cold now.
Wow.
With the situation going on, I heard you yesterday, Ruler, with the police and the thing wagwan.
Oh man, I tell you, big one.
Brethren, it's time we come off of the sideline and get into the game. Because we're sitting on the sidelines watching these things happen, holding our shoulders and our hands, saying, boy, I wagwan, and we are not doing anything. I actually have a plan of action. Nice. That I am going to talk to you about, that is national.
All right.
We are going, and it just so happens that goes right into what she's talking about. This is, being creative, and this is something that is going to really save lives.
Wow.
And if you're looking up with Ruler, he's, with his numbers and your numbers, it should be,
great
very
chemistry.
Successful.
Great chemistry.
And put in SWA in there because the what I notice about you and her is that this is a year for change. Whether it's health wise, with her, I think it was more a theme of health and self improvement, and with you, I think it said more expansion outwardly.
Wow.
But,
Empress, I don't want people to think that we're, I spoke to you once. I'm a new network to your, to the network. I'm new to the network.
Right.
When you talk about changes, all right, let me explain to the listening audience what's going on, both to my listeners on IMG Radio and all, and all the listeners across the board.
Right.
I just lost 50 pounds within the last, I would say, since from July to current, I dropped 50 pounds.
Wow.
Excellent.
Wow.
Okay.
Big up.
I was in a 8-year relationship that was toxic, and I just got out of that relationship, now living on my own. You know what I'm saying? So these are the changes that's coming that, I wasn't able to do or make in before.
Wow.
Now I'm looking at Florida, I'm looking at everything else.
If you don't mind, Patrick, if I can just jump in here and say that with the weight loss, you also lost the stress of the relationship and the connection. You know, it's also symbolic. Like a lot of people don't realize when I say that we hold a lot of things in, we hold a lot in.
Wow.
So when you lost that weight, you not only detoxed your system and eliminated, debris and harmful toxins, but you also did it outwardly as well.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Amazing.
Right.
Let me just add one thing, because folks, we didn't realize it would have gone this long, but it's interesting dialogue. And with Patrick, the CEO of Inbox Media Group, who is part of these networks of stations that carry these shows. Empress and Patrick, let me say it. I've been doing my show and I post a lot of stuff on Facebook, and people just give me nice feedback. Sometimes people say, Rula, post more stuff because, boy, we love your stuff. We love what you post and so forth and so on. And recently, there have been 3 entities over Facebook who have decided to pull together and start something, a movement to correct some of the problems in Jamaica, to do this and to that. And some of them have reached out to me. They form in boards and want me on the board. And for some reason, I don't get the urge to just run and do things. And I wonder if that ties into some of the reading thing. And it's not that I'm thinking about it. It just seems to be happening naturally, where I'm not just pulled into it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's either going to resonate with you or it doesn't. And what that shows me is that now you're being more intuitive to those types of frequencies. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's what it's all about. Listen to your intuition. It's not everything. Everything's not for everybody. That's what I always say.
Right.
You know, and listen to yourself. Listen to your body. Listen, weight gain. Lots of times people say, oh, it's what you eat. It isn't always what you eat. It can be a toxic, like you said, situation like that is stressful and creates cortisol. So it's not what you eat, it's who you're around. It's what you're eating emotionally.
And Patrick, if you don't mind, was there specific moves or things that you did to get the weight down, or it was the stress, or what was it?
Well, I got up one day. I played football for Syracuse. I went as far as college and played football.
Wow.
Used to have a 6-pack.
Wow.
And got up one morning, looked in the mirror, and I saw these men boobs, and looked like I'm about 20-something months pregnant. And I'm like, who the hell is this?
Right.
And I'm sitting in this relationship, man, that is not working. I decided, you know what? Instead of going on, go to Jay-Z 40/40 Lounge, I'm going to go on Jesus 40/40 Lounge.
Gotcha.
And I went on a 40-day juice fast.
Wow.
And I fast nothing solid, just liquid. Everything that I took in for 40 days was liquid.
Wow.
And before I did that, I faced the East. I went to the king and I dealt with him and I let him know what it is I want to do. And I let him know, look, before, I always come and say, boy, you young man, you go drink and you get drunk and you feel away. You come home and you say, boy, if you make me feel better, me never drink again. Please help me, God. And then as soon as you feel better, what you do? Go drink again. This time I decided to do it different. Father, may I go pay it forward. I am going to do this first. And then when I'm done, bless me in all the areas in which I need blessing. You see, I know what I need, but I have to tell you.
Right.
Just bless me in these areas because I need a change. I need to do a transition.
Right.
So, when I looked in the scripts, 40 days and 40 nights, it rained. There's 40 throughout the scripts, all over the Bible. Jesus fast, it rained for 40 days.
And that's another good number. I'm sorry to cut you in, cut in, but yes, 40 is significant because a lot of people believe that it's 30 days. And so they do these 30-day programs and they fail because it's not 30 days. It takes the brain actually 40 days to commit and have it be a habit.
Right.
And so that's why you have the correlation with the Bible.
Right. So, I followed that, and it was hard for the first 7 to 10 days. It was horrible. But then after you get over that 10-day hump, it was smooth sailing. I was like, what the hell is all of this? I could have gone 50, 60 days if I wanted, but I committed to 40. And, the byproduct of doing it was the weight. I wasn't even really looking to address the weight. I figured I'd go to the gym.
Right.
You know, but the weight just started falling, just started dropping. And by the time I looked up, you know, I dropped 4 inches off my waist.
Whoa.
Nice.
And
Wow.
I'm like, you know, I used to weigh 271. Right now, as I speak to you guys, I've been maintaining 230, 235. I fluctuate between there for the past 6 months.
Wonderful.
And when you started again, you didn't have a targeted amount of pounds that you wanted to drop. You just say, look, I'm going to go on this 40-day liquid diet, and wherever it ends, it ends.
Wherever it ends, it ends. I didn't put
And
any,
it doesn't
you know.
have to end there, because you can just maintain a different lifestyle of eating and a different lifestyle period. You, like I said, you made significant changes, not just internally, externally too. When you got rid of that relationship, believe it or not, that was probably 90% of the weight.
That was, listen, you don't know how relieved and stress-free I am right now. You know, a lot of people try to address weight loss. I do a little bit of motivational speaking, and a lot of people address weight loss by, you know, going and losing the weight. And, you know, when you look on TV, you see all these programs, you know, this diet, that diet. It's something that starts with the mind. No one gets up and decide that they want to be 300 pounds.
Right.
Yeah,
You understand?
exactly.
No, you know, so it's something psychological. If you do not address the psychological issues of you putting on the weight putting on is only the byproduct of you having these psychological problems.
Exactly. And there's a connection again.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and it's really important that people, like you say, you have to understand it's not just one or the other. There is a trinity to it. You have to, the mind, the body, and the spirit. You have to be committed. And the commitment is the 40 days or however you want to do it, but also take it further so that at the end of the 40 days, you don't necessarily have to.
I know, Rula, you're coming up to the minute.
Sorry, we just took over the whole thing.
We're going to take over the show. Listen, I got to get ready to go to a station identification myself.
All right, Patrick,
boss.
Don't go nowhere. Patrick, we'd love to have you on again, because these type of inputs, I think many people out there listening are saying, wow, I have always wanted to do XYZ. Here is somebody who has done it. And I tell you, this good testimony, I want to big up. This was unexpected, folks. And just because EmpressTee did a reading and it meshed with what is happening now. So I want to say big up to you, Patrick. And for all the listeners over there, the Inbox Media Group, blessed love to you. And again, thank you so much, big man.
Yes, Roots.
All right.
Be good.
Yeah, man.
We'll talk. I'll talk to you about that project where we get at. Brethren, stop rig the thing pants on them, man.
Eh? Where's that?
Stop rig the thing pants on them, man. You and Server David and the rest, especially the one, Mr. Clifton. Edwards. You know, rig the thing so man, newcomers like myself can't get in. It's all right.
Big man. Me no want that. Me want you come in Sunday. Sunday we have this thing we starting a new one called Pick Your Braids, and we need another thing. Nobody back out, you know, because the last couple of times you gone down to Florida. Nobody to Florida. Even when you go down to Florida, you can't link in. So again, thank you so much,
big man. You gotta take some apple cider vinegar, get his speed up to par.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Be good.
Blessed love, big man. Yes, sir. All right, EmpressTee, and you didn't get to do Servant David's reading, but we know we're going to have Servant David on the next show, because I know him hearing this, we want to get some input from him. We would love to have Servant David and EmpressTee on one day, because, you know, he's going through the struggles with his son now, and he's in the chat room probably there saying, wow, that's why I like the station. So big up Servant David and his son Zane, who is trying to make a comeback in terms of fighting the cancer. Empress, wrap it up for me. This has been just mind-boggling. The first time we ever took it to 90 minutes, so you know it was good. So go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry that we went so long, but again, I just want people to feel empowered and know that even though we're living in these times that seem so hopeless and so endless, there's things that we can do to empower ourselves. And when we empower ourselves, we empower others. And it's just, it's a ripple effect. When you drop a pebble in a lake or a sea, an ocean, whatever, it's going to send out ripples. And we just have to keep the ripples going and, send out the love. If you want more information about numbers, like I said, you can look on my Facebook, EmpressTee, with, with HigherFrequency, SWA can put the link up for me. She usually has it for me. I'm just not the technical one. I'm so sorry. But and also you can contact me directly through Rula. Anyone that has any questions or comments or, wants to continue study or have anything that you want me to present, just give a holler.
Quick one.
Thank you, and I love you all.
All right, wait, don't go. Quick one before you go. People who want to go and buy the lottery, the lotto number with their birth dates. What's the scoop on that? They have the pick 4, the pick 3, and can people vibes after that to go buy it?
Yeah, you can. They have methods of doing it. They say you could use your birthday and the date of combine the date of the lottery and things like that. There's different ways of doing it. But again, you have to catch that vibration.
Right.
Commonly, the numbers of 3 and 7 are the most common numbers for whatever reason. A couple years back, I guess a bunch of people won the lottery number, and it was mostly 7s and 3s in the numbers. So, they're frequent numbers. Do studies before you pick your numbers. See, what are the most common, ask the computer, what are the most common numbers picked for lotteries and things like that, and incorporate your birth numbers in there, and you might get lucky.
Yeah, because also let me point out from one of the chart that you've sent to me, there are these things called lucky days, depending on when you're born. If you're born on the 1st, your lucky days are Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. And your lucky days are, if you're born on the 2nd, are Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday. So maybe you can go down by your numbers on those days.
Yep, things like that. There's lots of things that you can do to put yourself on the right frequency. But again, it's just to let you know that there are things, and the numbers are connected to the stars. They use the numbers and the stars and everything to navigate, to live, basically. They didn't have computers. So,
right.
and their brain capacity was immense, because mathematicians back then were like, God.
We have to go now. Sorry to rush you. It's
okay. Sorry.
1 minute to 12 o'clock. So, hey, folks. Boy, I tell you, what a show today.